Good morning, Britain. Coming up in her first television interview, the mother of the children who died from carbon monoxide poisoning in Corfu tells us about her grief and anger at Thomas Cook and what she wants them to do for every parent.
Will British teams play in the next World Cup? Well, there are calls for a boycott if FIFA President Sepp Blatter is re-elected today after refusing to step down. Also,
I used to call her a love bomb.
A love bomb?
Because she exploded with love. So
William Roach remembers his on-screen wife Anne Kirkbride and reveals how her Coronation Street co-stars will be paying tribute to her this weekend.
and who will walk away with £250,000 and a slot at the Royal Variety Performance? Richard is live with the Britain's Got Talent finalists. That's all coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Friday, 29th of May 2015, live from ITV Studios in London. This is Good Morning Britain.
A very good morning to you. Welcome to the programme. It is 6 o'clock. Let's take a look at the weekend weather, shall we, Laura? Oh no, I thought you were smiling and now wincing.
Literally, the weather can't make its mind up. It was sunny yesterday, it's going to rain today, and it's sort of similar fortunes as we head into the weekend. Saturday is your best day, your banker for sunshine. Come Sunday, it does turn a lot wetter, I'm afraid. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel for next week, ladies, so more on that a bit later on.
OK, brilliant. Thanks very much indeed. Well, our top story this morning, European football teams have threatened to boycott the World Cup if the head of FIFA, Sepp Blatter, does not step down.
He is expected to be re-elected as president today, to the anger of many in the footballing world. That's despite the arrest of several FIFA executives on corruption charges. And Jonathan Swain remains in Zurich for us this morning. Well, we've said we expect him to be re-elected. What do you think is going to happen today?
Well, Ranveer, this is the room where Sepp Blatter hopes to restore his reputation after a week where FIFA has been left in ruins by this scandal. To win, he needs two-thirds of the votes. We know he already has the support from Russia, from Africa and from the Asian football nations. His contender, Prince Ali, though, is having growing support, particularly from Europe. And if anybody thinks that this scandal doesn't really have any implications or any effect on football fans or sports fans, well, UEFA are threatening today to boycott future World Cups and pull European teams, including British teams, out of any future World Cups. So this morning, football has never looked so fragile.
Could this be the final whistle for Sepp Blatter? Or will the world's most powerful man in football ignore it and continue to play on? This is the opposition that could stop him, Prince Ali bin Al Hussein of Jordan. Last night at the FIFA conference, Blatter spoke publicly about the scandal for the first time.
We, or I, cannot monitor everyone all of the time.
There are 209 football associations around the world eligible to vote. So far, it appears that Prince Ali has the support of delegates from the FA, UEFA and Australia. He may get enough votes to force a second round. The African and Asian nations, though, are expected to back Blatter. But if he wins today, many, including UEFA, say they'll boycott the World Cup. As sponsors continue to express their concerns, FIFA, a body intended to unite countries, is now at risk of pulling them apart. Jonathan Swain, Good Morning Britain, Zurich.
Well, that is our top story. Now here's Sean with more on concerns about sugary fruit snacks. I thought I was doing good by giving the kids these.
Well, it depends which ones, but you may be doing bad. There's a warning today that several brands of children's fruit snack, while appearing healthy, actually contain more sugar than sweets. The charity Action on Sugar says many food manufacturers are confusing parents with misleading claims about their products. Here's Gargi Patel.
They're marketed to appeal to children, healthy treats for lunchboxes. But researchers say these popular fruit snacks are misleading. Families on a day out at Hobbledown Farm Centre were shocked to learn they contain much more sugar than normal sweets.
No, I don't believe you. I am quite shocked by that, because I would have definitely thought the sweets would be a less healthy option.
Because it says it's got fruit in it, I was assuming it'd be more healthy.
Nearly all the snacks surveyed would need a red colour-coded warning for the high sugar levels. 85% of them contain more sugar than a portion of Haribo sweets. And some contain more than 4 teaspoons of sugar per pack.
These products are not allowed to be provided in schools, and we think parents shouldn't be misled into buying these products for their kids.
We contacted a number of manufacturers. Tesco told us their products are clearly labelled to help customers make healthy choices. The makers of Fruit Flakes said the snacks are a healthier alternative to confectionery, and their new formula has lower sugar levels. Gargi Patel, Good Morning Britain.
David Cameron is holding critical talks in Berlin with the German Chancellor on the last day of his European tour. He's trying to drum up support for the reforms he wants on welfare and immigration. Sue Jamieson is in Berlin. And Sue, do you think his plans will fall on deaf ears?
Well, no, I think the ears will be more sympathetic today than they were yesterday, simply because Angela Merkel is more of a natural ally than François Hollande, with whom David Cameron had talks yesterday. Even so, there are lines that she will not cross, and David Cameron knows that, for example, on free movement of people across the EU and working within those countries. I mean, there is a bottom line here, and France and Germany don't want the UK to quit the EU, but won't keep them in at any price. So I think a lot of the success of this mission is going to be about David Cameron's tone. And I think we get a measure of that from what he said in France yesterday. In other words, it's not just about me, it's about you too.
We want to help the Eurozone work better, and we do not want to stand in the way of closer integration. So we have different priorities, but we share a common objective, which is to find solutions to these problems. And what matters is that the European Union and its 28 members are flexible and imaginative enough to respond to these issues.
And before he arrives here in Berlin, he's going to be having talks in Warsaw too.
Sue, thanks very much indeed. The mother of 2 children killed by carbon monoxide fumes while on holiday in Corfu is calling for greater safety standards across the travel industry. Sharon Wood, whose children Bobby and Christy Shepherd died in 2006, says holiday companies must make the welfare of customers their priority. Michelle Morrison reports.
There can never be true justice for the deaths of my 2 innocent children.
Almost 9 years on from the tragedy that took the lives of her young children, Sharon Wood's grief and anger is still raw. But this morning, in her first TV interview since an inquest ruled the children had been unlawfully killed and that Thomas Cook had breached its duty of care, she'll tell Good Morning Britain the deaths of Bobby and Christy must prompt new legislation. It would see every hotel in the EU have carbon monoxide detectors fitted. Her MP has tabled a motion in Parliament.
This motion calls on Thomas Cook to lead the way in Europe by installing carbon monoxide alarms in all accommodation that they have where gas is present, so that no other family suffers a terrible tragedy.
Sharon Wood says that when she met the Thomas Cook boss last week, she refused to shake his hand despite an apology from the tour operator over the way it conducted its relationship with Sharon and her family. Sharon will now try to move on for her other 3 children, but says she'll always consider herself a mother of 5. Michelle Morrison, Good Morning Britain.
And we'll be talking exclusively to Sharon Wood at 7:10. New laws aimed at tackling legal highs come into effect today. They'll ban the manufacture, sale and supply of synthetic drugs for recreational use, as well as substances like nitrous oxide, known as laughing gas. Dealers will face up to 7 years in prison as part of the crackdown. The tallest building in the Western world opens to the public today. New York's One World Trade Center is next to the site of the former Twin Towers, destroyed in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. It's taken a decade to build, and developers say it's a symbol of the strength and resilience of the city. Here's Patrice Howard.
From below, it's your average New York skyscraper. But ride 102 stories up to the top of One World Trade Center, and the view is anything but ordinary. It's already had some famous faces, with George Clooney filming this recent TV interview. But today, One World Observatory opens to the public. On a clear day, you can see 80 kilometers in every direction. The opening marks the end of a decade-long building project that cost around £2.6 billion to give visitors a brand new view of an old city.
3 to 4 million people are expected to visit One World Observatory in the first year. The view is certainly the main attraction here, but if the clouds do roll in, guests can also take a virtual tour of the city below.
LED screens around the elevator will tell the story of 500 years of New York history.
It's a building that rose from the ruins of the World Trade Center towers, brought down in the September 11 terrorist attack. but it won't replace them. Patrice Howard, Good Morning Britain.
Well, I'm scared of heights, so I was just scared watching that, to be honest.
The glass floor, that's the one that really tests people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mind you, I think it'll be a very emotional trip as well as a spectacular trip.
I just think you've been to the site, have you been there?
I have. It's quite eerie, isn't it?
It's quite eerie, and it's just the thought of going back there and having somewhere to go, which is sort of positive, and you come away feeling, you know,
we're back up.
Proud of everyone, for coming back. Yeah, it's a lovely thing, actually.
Brilliant. Should we have a look at the front pages this morning? Give me his head on a blatter is the Sun's headline. This is demands for FIFA boss Sepp Blatter to step down amid the corruption scandal.
Now, the Mirror is warning of 5 days of rail hell, as they call it, starting next week, after unions called 2 national strikes in an ongoing row over pay. That was, remember, there was one planned for the last bank holiday, and it was called off, and now they're saying they still haven't come to any agreement, so we're heading for a bit of a chaos, I'm afraid.
Mind you, I suppose people that would have been travelling on the bank holiday will have still have been relieved.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
This week. And the Express, sorry, Sean.
Well, yeah, it says that nearly 75% of shop-bought chickens tested positive for a potentially fatal food poisoning bug. That's really concerning. Something else that's quite concerning inside the Mail. You'd think that number 10 Downing Street was a pretty secure place, but they've had an intruder. Don't worry, it's not that alarming. It's a heron, as in the bird. So we're calling it Mr. Cam Heron. I didn't quite say that right, but there he is.
Maybe that works better written down.
Yeah, I think it did. But anyway, he's looking for some fish out of water, I think, there.
That's not a place, I mean, you don't really expect herons in the city anyway, do you?
There's a little pond in their garden, I think, isn't there? So, and obviously St James's Park is nearby.
Right.
Apparently a crow scared it in. And then once it was in, it just sat on the door, and then they had to shoo it out.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Beautiful picture, actually.
Yeah, it's a great picture, isn't it?
Picture.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, still ahead on Good Morning Britain, 4 of the hottest women in pop. Yep, Little Mix reveal their unique transformation for their brand new music video as we go behind the scenes with them before 7.
But first, let's get the news, travel and weather where you are.